Ke nna Gomolemo Mafole, ke le gadimana ntweng. Setlogolo sa tlo perera a makgamati a sia. Ke ngwetsi ya ditlou. Ngwana ge Lindol wa dikgomo. So ke tla go bala a message that comes from my mothers, Mom Lindol le Auntie Ninga. Dear Mom, it was a very big shock to hear about your passing. You left just when we were getting ready to celebrate your 100th birthday. As your daughters, we would like to really thank you for being the mother you were to us. You taught us to be good human beings, to be compassionate, to love, and to respect people. It was difficult yet easy to be your daughters. You were always the teacher. Sesi Sheila always talked about how you taught her how to bake and do gardening. You made us understand that we can't get tired of making endless cups of tea for the many uncles and aunties that we had. And of course, the tea had to be accompanied by freshly baked scones. We remember fondly how you accused us of trying to kill President Oliver Tambo. We had cooked oxtail, and President OR loved it, but he was not allowed to eat red meat. He quietly asked us to give him some pap and oxtail, and we secretly obliged. When you realized what we had done, you basically accused us of treason and working for the enemy. It really hurt. On another occasion, we were cooking for one of the many ANC meetings that were held at home. We did not have meat in abundance, so we had cooked a whole chicken, but a drumstick was missing. You came charging to the kitchen asking where it was. Taninga, who was also cooking on that day, had eaten the drumstick. Although she was full of oil around her mouth, she very calmly said, "I think it must be one of those chickens that have one leg missing." You were fuming. We remember very fondly that you are the one who taught us to speak English so that we don't get lost when we come back home. When we went to Czechoslovakia, now the Czech Republic, in 1976, we spoke very little English. We remember till today how when we wanted to go and play with our friends outside, you would always say in the Czech language, "English, please." That served as a sign that it was time to start the English lessons. For that, we are very grateful. We left Czechoslovakia for Tanzania in 1971 and stayed in Morogoro, where we attended the local school and had our classes in Kiswahili. We then left Tanzania for Zambia in 1972, where you became the chief representative of the ANC to that country. It was during that time that Daddy left us. Left us in Zambia to go to the camps in Angola. We remember how strict you became with our school results. You always used to say that. "Do not make Papa think I'm not making sure that you are serious about your studies now that he is not here with us." We stayed in Zambia until 1976, when we left for Cuba. We were 18 and 16 respectively, and our late brother Lennon was only 14. We stayed in Cuba until we finished university. At the time, there was no internet, so there were no emails, no cell phones, and no new technology, so a letter from you and Daddy would take months to arrive, but we survived. We remember so clearly that you always used to say, "Just make sure that you marry a South African so that you can come back home." What will I say to the young MK women in Angola when my own daughters marry foreigners and go to their countries while I'm busy telling them to get ready to go back home? We obliged, Mom, and we came back home. You were always good with your sons-in-law. They continued to be your sons. When you used to sleep with Lindol and she started having daily and long midnight conversations with Mangoba on the phone, you asked, "Who are you talking to every night?" On one of the nights, as you pretended to be asleep and they were debating about a certain name, you could not resist and you corrected them. When things in this family would not go well, and we were not as united as you would like us to be, you reminded us that we were not a special family, but an ordinary family that faced challenges that all families face. Mom, you taught us to be responsible. You and Daddy always insisted that we should respect every person, no matter what the position they held in the world. You taught us humility, integrity, and to love one another. We shall miss you, Mom. We shall miss your sense of humor, your laughter, the way you used to scold us, even as adults, when we had done something wrong. We shall miss the way you loved our children, who are your grandchildren, and your great-grandchildren even more. We shall miss the way you used to talk about anything and everything. We shall miss hearing you sing, as you had such a lovely voice. We will always remember the way you used to talk about South Africa when we were young in Prague. You would regularly sing the song Green, Green Grass of Home and songs by Miriam Makeba. There is so much to remember about you. You were and always will be unforgettable. All in all, please pass our regards to our ancestors. We shall continue to strive to make you proud. We shall continue to follow in your footsteps, though we know that your shoes are very difficult to fill. It is difficult to lose you, but you taught us to be strong. We never forget how you kept your composure when your son-in-law, Gomolemo Mafole, your dear husband, Mark Shope, your grandson, Sandile Mafole, and your only son and last-born, Lenin, passed on. For our sake, you kept strong and reminded us that you had lost and buried many children, but had to go on with your duties. We will try our best to follow that example. Rest in peace, dearest Mom. You shall forever be in our hearts. We are comforted because we know that you are already watching over us and that you left us in the big loving family, the ANC and the people of South Africa. It is also comforting to know that you are now reunited with all our ancestors.